It's finally here, the moment you've all been waiting for. Once again, another arc is done, and I, Woo-Woo, your least favorite, but one of only options at seeing a ranking of this sort, am here to rank all of them. My opinion has changed drastically over time, and you'll see that in the ranking. Without further ado, let's
checkmate.
Number 5. The YouTube arc. I said there were going to be some drastic changes in this ranking, and you're probably asking yourself, if you watch my 2020 video of course, why is my former number 1 pick now at the last spot? To be sincere to y'all, it was a momentary hype. I was too caught up with the hype for the end of the new arc. I didn't even take enough time to acknowledge every arc the most rational way possible. Now that I look back at it, the YouTube arc is probably the weakest one there is. Not because of stakes or anything, but because the substance wasn't as good as other arcs. This arc is all about SMG3 trying to replace SMG4 with his own production studio and his own cast of characters. While this arc introduces important concepts like the YouTube remote and the internet graveyard, its story doesn't variate the cast of the arc that much and adds almost no cool interactions as a result of that. The anti-cast are interesting additions that barely get used nowadays, so I have no idea what SMG4 went for there. SMG3 as a villain is pretty solid, you know, for intentionally being written to be the cliché evil villain. That has to do with the dramatic backstory at the start of the arc that, while it still doesn't undo all the plans against SMG4, Mario and friends in the past, is still a really nice motivation to see. And the What Feet rap battle still remains to me as the best until 2020. That opinion of mine hasn't changed. Maggie also gets a legit voice actor during this arc, being teased in Mario Gets Woke and actually being executed during the rap battle. And I really like the changes happening with Maggie's character, including her new show. This also kind of sets up the following arc, as it establishes the internet graveyard and SMG3's new role in the story of SMG4.
I can't buy cool friends to celebrate Bob's giving with, like you guys.
Number 4. The Rapper Bob arc. What I originally stated to be the weakest arc gets to be actually better in quality and substance than the YouTube arc. This arc focuses solely on Bob's character development, which was an important aspect to address, since, you know,
Bluetooth maximum.
This time, Bob betrays the trust of his friends all to get a career as a famous rapper. But at the end, he learns his lesson and accepts that his friends are the most important thing to him. This arc also focuses a lot on Boopkins, since the main focus is the relationship between him and Bob. I find that a crucial aspect of the arc, very important to its story and the future of SMG4. Not only that, but Psycho is another crucial character for this arc's story, establishing for good how she has grown as a person. We also get a kick-ass song, and there's not even a what feat here. This great arc sadly gets overlooked by us fans because of the high standards Luke and Kevin established in storytelling. Hopefully, the events of this arc will affect more this universe story in some shape or form in the future. But for now, it stands as a great addition, not as necessary as other arcs. Number 3. The Waluigi arc. As I've said before, the first one will always be a classic. But I'm not ranking this arc solely on that. This arc is fucking incredible and has some of the best writing in SMG4 even to today. Waluigi feels rejected for not being invited to the new Smash Bros. Game, and he discovers that feeling of rejection is what drives all of his deepest powers. So knowing that he won't ever get in Smash, he makes a plan to take out all of his anger on the whole world. But thanks to his brother Wario finally acknowledging how much he cares about him, and maybe some help from Dr. SMG3, he decides to let go of his obsession and settle down with his brother. Waluigi as a villain manages to be relatable and terrifying at the same time, from his painful past of being rejected to lurking in the shadows as an ominous figure that gets each time closer to our perception. Waluigi might have been the perfect villain to start the arc trend. He's relatable, ominous, and a powerhouse that almost took over the world with his T-pose virus. But Waluigi isn't the only character on play, as many characters get to be developed as well. Mario gets to appreciate more the people around him, like Luigi and Maggie. Luigi shows to have an immense love for his brother, going so far as to sacrificing himself so Mario won't have the same fate. And even when discussing with the figure himself, Maggie sacrifices herself to keep her friend Mario off danger. But we can't talk about the Waluigi arc without talking about the character that was introduced during this arc, Tari. The cybernetic girl herself demonstrates her personality during this time while also showing all of her capabilities and eventually helping the gang stop Waluigi. She also ends up promoting the at the time unknown show called Meta Runner, giving to SMG4 viewers a sneak peek to what the main character of that series would look and act like. I also like this arc for the better inclusion of characters like Toad and Bowser, but in all seriousness, comparing the quantity of characters now and at that time, we can get why they don't appear as much anymore. I still hope they do, but I can understand why they don't. Overall, an amazing arc, and I think I should probably stop using the word overall to finish my reviews. Oh well. Number 2. Genesis Arc. The Genesis Arc. Oh, the Genesis Arc. It's still pretty recent to me, but I did my best to post this as soon as possible to you guys and still gather the thoughts in my head in a way that will feel clear and true to what I feel. I originally didn't like this arc at all. In fact, I thought it was going to be at the bottom of my list. I thought the whole story was dragging on and nothing memorable was being added to the build-up episodes. But by rewatching all of them again and seeing the finale, I realized the episodes leading up to it weren't as bad as I made them to be, and the whole drag was necessary in order to build up the finale in a way that wouldn't be rushed and therefore badly executed. I'll get more into this next topic in a future video, but Zero is the darkest villain in the whole show, and perhaps my favorite out of all of them. He's creepy, morbid, cryptic, terrifying, disturbing, off-putting, just a nasty ass bitch. I love him. And if you're wondering I would like that because I'm also all of those things, you're wrong. I am all of those things, but that was not my reasoning behind liking him. I just think he's probably the more fit character for the main antagonist of SMG4 as a whole, that being because of his corrupted sense of restoration or his many amazing designs that have been shown in the span of only a year. I really think we're not done with Zero. I think he has the potential to not only come back one more time, but 1,000 more. The characters of the SMG1 and 2 aren't as bland as you can get, but they're also not in the level of any other character. And yes, I'm including that bitch. I just don't see them as anything other than exposition. Now let's address what you're all probably waiting for, Axol and Melony. I have already stated that I don't easily cry while watching something. This one almost got me. The tragic end to the first major modern ship was painful, but probably the best way to write it. I've seen other shows that have gone with that direction, some not succeeding and eventually losing the interest of fans. Either way, I think SMG4 did this right. As it has happened before, SMG4 keeps its message about moving on and not letting losses hold you down. The whole sacrifice scene between Axol and Melony is the most beautiful thing I've seen in this entire show, and I'm holding my tears while writing this script. Well done, SMG4. Well fucking done. Anyway, I really didn't like that they teased us with Shroomy and Bowser at the 10-year anniversary, only to replace them with Swag and Chris at the end. I was especially hoping for a Bowser return. Maybe that's why I wasn't enjoying the arc at its full potential at first. I was just spending the whole episode waiting for a miracle. Instead, I get fucking what the Rap Battle 2021, oh my god, that was
like fuck you, Goku!
Number 1. The anime arc. The anime arc rises as my favorite SMG4 story arc. While the stakes may not be as high as in the Waluigi arc or the Genesis arc, this story was the darkest one at its time, and probably the first taste we got at SMG4 trying to traumatize us. The story, while some say is dragged out, is really fascinating, and I didn't mind having to wait 11 episodes to get to the grand finale of it all. In one of my rankings, I described Final Hours and Maggie's Boot Camp, both episodes from this arc, as my number 1 and 2 picks respectively, out of all 2019 episodes. Considering all of them, they have the biggest impacts on SMG4 and the anime arc. They do so by having the most emotions and epic moments in the arc, and doing so in such a well execution as the writing. Francis surprised me as a villain, as he has a whole lot of personality to match with his cruel acts against the Inklings and Octolings. He has absolutely no morals and will follow no rules if it means getting what he wants, even if what he wants are 2D girls coming to life. Axol is a character introduced during this arc, a character that will later be killed in the events of the Genesis arc. He shows very little personality, but gets improved over time until his unfortunate demise. We also get introduced to his magic pen, Inkweaver, that can make any drawing he makes with it come to life. Knowing that his powers are time and efficiency limited, Francis discovers the power source strong enough to make the pen work at its full potential, and steals it along with lots of Inkopolis citizens to power the machine that will give energy to Axol's pen. Maggie gets to play a major role here, as she gets kidnapped by Francis and used to power the machine. In the end, after being rescued by Ultra Instinct Shaggy, she ends up turning into a human, changing completely her appearance. Plus, we can talk about Maggie's journey in this arc without even mentioning Dusty's death. The first ever major death in SMG4, Dusty's death was not only impactful to us fans, but to Maggie as well, as that fact helped her grow as a character and eventually win Splatfest during the events of Maggie's destiny. As one last scene, all the characters in the arc, along with some extra cameos, say goodbye to Dusty, supporting Maggie with her loss. One of the strongest scenes in SMG4 was the perfect ending for what I consider to be the best arc in SMG4 until today. These were, of course, my personal opinions. I'd love to hear why you think the Genesis arc should have been number 1, or any other opinions deviating from mine. Be open to express yourself without being offensive to anyone, please. This was the video, and thanks for watching.